We lived outside of Rochester, New York on Lake Ontario, and so I was in the thick of things as far as fox hunting was concerned. And so probably as a 6th or 7th grader, I had one of my very best friends was Sally Wadsworth, and it was her dad who was the master of the foxhounds in the Genesee Valley hunt. And as you might know, if you followed hunting at all, he was one of the foremost leaders and one of the greatest masters of fox hunting. And of course, that was just right up my alley. I detested horse showing. And then when we got married and moved to Minnesota, the Long Lake hounds were there. So this was what I did. And our daughter, I introduced to riding right away, but she would sit in front of me when we'd go out to lay the line. So Elizabeth has been a part of my riding career for a lot. Then it came to a point where she sort of thought she didn't like going that fast in the hunt field, that she thought maybe she'd like to enter the show ring. So in about 82 or 83, I became a horse show mom. Elizabeth sent a horse home. Vondre, no minor detail. He was a champion for Elizabeth, and he was a champion for me. He's still alive. And I knew that he was too good to just let stand in the pasture, so I girded up my courage, and I started showing in 91 and showed through till 98. And I did the adult amateurs and the amateur owner division, and had a wonderful trainer at home, Debbie Kemp, who has passed away, and we miss her terribly. And then when Elizabeth moved back home, my daughter became my trainer. My guess, if I was to pick idols in the horse world, it would probably be Betty Orr, for one. I just think she's such a marvelous competitor. And Nina Bonney, of course, I was more than happy with my 8th place ribbons behind the two of them. So it's just been a part of my blood forever, and I love it. I love to see the little ones. I'm delighted that my daughter is quite interested in bringing the little ones along. Zoe at 4 is now doing walk, trot, canter, longest stirrup or shortest stirrup. No stopping that one. Tim and my husband are not horse people. They support us highly. Our son we're pretty excited for him. He was a University of New Hampshire graduate and became very active as a cross-country skier. Or 83, I guess, and I was on the Minnesota Hunter Jumper Association board for 10 years and was its chair for did 2 terms. And then at the same time, I got onto the USCF, or I guess it was AHSA still back then, because the zones were represented on the board. And then that changed, and then somehow I just sort of was fortunate enough to be reelected. Well, that was just at that interim period, at the point where David became chairman, and that was the opportune time. I turned to Alvin and I said, now's the time, let's see what we can do. So that's what we told you.
History.
Rest is history. Yep.